Hello everyone, I'm Steve, Mark's still at work, and this is Smokey, Steve, and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Thursday. We're getting there. It's almost the weekend. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everybody is safe. Look after yourselves. Look after the people around you. Take care. That's the SSAM PSA for the day. So, I hope everyone's doing good. I actually have a couple hours off this afternoon, so we're getting a bit of an early start. So, Cynthia may kick out another video, which would make a grand total of about 1,800 videos this week. Not that many, but not far. So we are going to continue with our discussion today about life after caretaking. We've essentially now just been following the channel and the channel changes by creator Cynthia Beaumont. And we started following, for anyone who's new here, her channel. I was a fan for a very long time, and then the direction of her channel kind of changed. She had a falling out with Mark, which of course turns into kind of like a falling out with me. I still watched her channel, we just didn't really communicate anymore, and then her husband became ill. Suddenly, not suddenly, depends who you ask. And he was going through a course of treatment, and we started following it then as kind of a, this is a person who's ill, and we're following it on YouTube, what do we think about what's going on? Because his illness became content. So, he unfortunately passed away, and then Cynthia became, sole creator of the channel, and it's taken a lot of different directions. In terms of, the name, anyway. Originally it was Cynthia Beaumont, then it was Cynthia and Thomas Beaumont, then it was Cynthia Beaumont again, I think, and then it was Jersey Girl Journals, then Cynthia Talks Tea, then My Little Made You Look, or My Little Part of the World, one of those, and then back to Cynthia Beaumont again. Interestingly, when Cynthia changes the name of her channel, it does not indicate a new direction in content. I know we also follow on SmokeySteveAndMarc one Miss Foodie Beauty, who, when she changes the name of her channel, albeit it only lasts a couple days, it's with the intention, or alleged intention, of changing the direction of her channel. So it's a little bit different. Cynthia has different motives, I think, in doing it. And I'm gobsmacked that she's done it so many times so close together, because Google kind of puts a limit on how many times you can do that, but apparently she did. So again, this week she was very prolific. I counted between 28 and 30 videos that she put out. I think she's kind of doing the thing where she wants to get X number of dollars a day, which means X number of views. So she puts out a video where she's doing her nails and it gets 500 views. The next one's going to be something that's a little more solid for views. She'll sit there and talk because, people like the gossip and the drama, and some people care about her neighbors and maybe they like her hair. And she'll pull, 1K on something like that. Good range for her, or average range for her that I see for this week is like 1K. She had over 2,000 views on a tour of her kitchen. We'll talk about that in a minute. So she did fair on some and not on the others. But I did do a little breakdown of the 28 to 30 videos. I didn't go video by video and watch and review, because I'm just a man. I'm just a man. But I did break down the type of content that's in all these videos, and of course I've seen them, so we'll touch on some overarching themes, as we usually do. But in trying to break these down, I came across 3 attempts at ASMR. There's good ASMR out there, if that's your thing. They're very watched, there's effort put into them, and there's something to be said for just staring out the window and listening to the rain. So she'll mount the camera out and just listen to the rain, and that's fine. It's not a lot of work. Not that good stuff needs to be a lot of work necessarily, but it seems like it's just padding views for the day. So there was 3 of those. Fan mail and gifts, she received 5. Boxes that she bought, including HelloFresh, 4. So she made out pretty good on the exchanges this week. She got 5 things in and only had to buy 4, so she's still good there. Mukbangs, including the tuna mukbangs, 8. Cooking, 2 or 3. Real Housewives of New Jersey reactions, 1. Cat videos, including the new cat tree, 2. Kitchen tour, 1. Sit and Chat 1, and product testing of something she got at the Dollar Tree 1. So, that's quite a cross-section of content. That's quite a bit. Again, the boxes, the HelloFresh boxes. I remember, let me just flash back for a second from when things were still good. I got hooked on Cynthia originally because of the HelloFresh boxes and the way she prepared them. And it's not news to anyone that Cynthia's cooking style does not match, I don't want to say the skill set, but the level of effort that HelloFresh demands, which frankly is not a lot. But she likes to prepare her food differently. So she never follows the recipe. I'm not even going to dog her for that, because she never has. This isn't about Cynthia being a know-it-all. She's always been a know-it-all about cooking. Always. So that's when I used to watch her old cooking videos and the HelloFreshes, because I'm like, what's she going to leave out? What's she going to put in? She always has extra potatoes. The vegetables are always boiled to death. That was part of it. That was the quirkiness of it. And the fact that she was doing it on a tiny 4-burner stove with that sink. I had a studio apartment when I was, well, in college that was about the same size. And it's impossible to cook in there. And especially considering they had enough stuff to fill a mansion in, you know, a shoebox size apartment. Again, I lived in one as small. It's very difficult to manage your storage in a place that small. What it usually means is you are only able to own, like, you can't own as much shit when you live in a smaller place. Doesn't matter how much you want it. If there's no room for it, you can't have it. So, I liked those cooking videos. And the unboxings were, you know, same old Cynthia, really excited about a yellow squash or whatever. And these newer ones, I don't know. And she racked up a lot of credit. I remember one time HelloFresh did her dirty. Ooh, she made a video about that. Ooh, she made a video about it. Because she had said, and HelloFresh was profitable to her. The video, it's still there probably somewhere. She had racked up over $1,000 in credit from HelloFresh. The referral link at the time was you get 20 off your box and she would get a $20 credit. A box is about 60 bucks. So imagine how many like racked up that she had that much coming in, and that's how she would get boxes all the time for her and for Tommy. Not a bad hustle, because they didn't drive. So I think maybe getting back into them again, I'm saying here she's buying them, but if she gets back on that hustle, she'll have some free boxes coming in. I mean, she's got a big enough audience, you only need a handful of referrals to do that. So, and we have every plate we get every once in a while, and we have a referral link in there for ours, and we've gotten a couple credits from people who've used them too. So, no shame in the game. I'm just trying to think if that's the context of her getting the HelloFresh stuff now. She might have had to put out for one or two. This is the kind of thing where it's good for her. I mean, she can eat this at least. For Christ's sake, it's not like little girl lipstick where she wants to get another free one. This is food at least. So, cooking videos, the mukbangs, she's eating and talking. You know, they're not gross beyond what you may think about watching Cynthia or anybody eat. So, you know, whatever. The tuna. We'll talk about that in a second. Real Housewives in New Jersey. It's hard to do. I will say this because I don't use footage of Cynthia and I don't use any of Foodie Beauty. It's challenging to sustain a review with no other stuff over a long period of time, especially if someone doesn't have any interest in what you're talking about. Like, if you know who Cynthia is and you know some of the background, this is probably more interesting than if you don't know who the F I'm talking about. So, that's there. So if other people like The Real Housewives in New Jersey, they might watch. But if I don't know anything about it, I'm not going to click in because she's just, you know, speaking, kind of the way I am right now. And it's hard to sustain an audience for that long, too. Even if you're really, really good. I would say I'm okay at it, and I have concerns for her. She can do it. I mean, anyone can talk for half an hour with a camera on. It's just, is it worth watching? You know, and that's up to the viewer to decide. And they decided, only 500 of them decided to watch that. So, who's mad at them? We get 500 range views, too. Of course, our channel is only a tenth of the size, a fifth of the size. So, cat videos. Everyone's home with their cats. So cat videos, whatever. Our cat is on the video all the time. That's cool. The kitchen tour. Now this brought up feelings for some people because Cynthia, as we know, will identify herself as a person who lives in abject poverty. Nobody has it worse. Um, and so she needs food on the regular. And she can't get out to go get it because, I don't know, she would just sit there and starve. Um, so apparently, she was cleaning up her kitchen and putting things together, and she had a trip to the grocery store possibly coming up, or she was going to have Instacart, but somebody hacked her account. No one gives a shit enough to hack anyone's Instacart account. Um, so she was going to go, I guess, shopping with Betty or something. So she had been, I guess, putzing around her house rearranging. I'm assuming that maybe some of the trash went out, otherwise it's just rearranging chairs on the deck of the Titanic. It doesn't really matter. There was more food than I had thought for a person who says that they're living, hand to mouth on the shelves. There was some stuff that was covered that you can't see. Her house, her privacy, whatever. But I don't know. They have about as much. She has about as much food in the house as Mark and I do at any given time. You know, so it didn't look like things were rough. If she was, God forgive me, it's not people who do. There's, beyond my opinion, some sociological research that is available, which I'm not going to cite, and whatever. People that live in poverty tend to have higher rates of obesity. It's flipped on its head. It doesn't seem to make sense. It shouldn't make sense. You think the poorer you are, the thinner you should be because you can't afford food, but it doesn't seem to work that way. So I want to say, well, if Cynthia's broke, why is she, almost 400 pounds? But she lives on crap. She enjoys crap. And people have sent her, she had $400 worth of protein packed into the freezer, which was then empty, but then she had to make room to put food in when she got, I don't know. At any rate, the kitchen tour seemed to be very exposing, and it was her most viewed video of the week so far. So, I mean, that's whatever. When we take our cameras, we've shown our kitchen, and I don't think we may have shown, I used to film in the bedroom. Early. I mean, like 2 months into the channel, so we're talking the end of, 2019? No, 2018 maybe? There's nothing too private, too personal to be seen. But we wouldn't show a part of our house we didn't want anyone to feel free to comment on. Because once it's content, it's fair game. So, with that, I'll also ask, any follow-up on that note that was left? The FBI on that yet? Anybody? Did it go to the top? Has it passed Trump's desk? So, I'm off topic, that's okay. So yeah, the kitchen tour. I can't fathom that she could be out of food in that way. And when the begging starts to creep in, again, the electric bill. I remember her saying, I can only sit here with one light bulb on. Oh, give me a break. I've been through tough times. A lot of us have. Many people haven't, and that's fortunate, but they're not necessarily snobs. They may have just planned better, been born into different circumstances, made different things priorities, so they will always have a roof over their head because they can live without internet service and cable, so they're not going to cut it that close on the rent. So not everybody has gone through hard times. I have, primarily self-induced. It isn't that much of a hard knock life for me. I've pretty much caused my own chaos before. So I can appreciate, that, but the victim of circumstance thing is getting a little old, Like, how long? Like, it's like, whose turn is it this week to send Cynthia food? I have compassion for people who are going through hard times, but there's a fine balance between, like, supporting someone and coddling them. I mean, she's not a 16-year-old girl, she's a 50-year-old woman. I don't know. It's just, I can see where someone would be coming from with generosity and wanting to look out for someone who they think is vulnerable. And there is, Cynthia has a weird dichotomy of being very vulnerable and very abrasive and calculating at the same time. I don't know how that happens. It's a psychiatric phenomenon. But, she is. I said before, Cynthia, for all her, poverty and living with one light on, she'll be fine. People like Cynthia always end up fine. Somebody will always sweep in and take care of her. She will always complain to the right person and get what she wants, and then stick her tongue out at people that said that she shouldn't have had it, didn't deserve it, it's wrong, whatever. Everyone knows a Cynthia, and that's how it will probably turn out for her. She'll never be rich, she'll never win the lottery, she'll never be grand, but she will always, get something for nothing and get by. That's just how I think she'll be. So, she'll be queen of her domain, whatever her domain may be. So, she's the Lord of the Mountain of lipstick. So, next thing that came up, 4th of July. Now, this jumped out at me because she had something semi-political, semi-not political, semi-bigoted, semi-not bigoted. You didn't have to read too far into this. Sorry, I just needed a cigarette for a second. So, 4th of July fireworks. So apparently the Black Eyed Peas performed, which I did not know. I didn't know if they were scheduled. I don't really follow fireworks on TV. We had them exploding in every direction here, so I was a little distracted. Apparently she felt like that was a bad thing, because that was caving to the mob. So booking a musical group that Cynthia didn't like, and what would be different about them than maybe another musical group that what would be considered caving, and what is this said mob? This mob of people that want other people to be treated with the same dignity or respect as everybody else. She's still so bitter about Macy's and the army not guarding it, I'm sure, because it is the heartbeat of America. So how dare anyone ruin the fireworks? I don't know. It's such a stupid, ignorant thing to say. There's really not much more to even bring up about it. But again, the slight little, political, I think she was on her way to one of her rants, but whatever. She gets views on her little, lily white crap, and so she'll blow out something inflammatory every now and then when the manicures and the reaction videos and the other stuff doesn't work. All of a sudden there's a letter that says Cynthia's a racist, or she shares her views on something like Antifa, who she thinks is stalking her, also, whatever. And, let's see. Okay, there was a shopping spree. She went to Home Goods. Now, if I recall, she had a gift card to Home Goods. So, I'm not raking her over the coals for going to use a gift card and for getting out. And I think any amount of Cynthia getting out is good. Aside from her personality, Cynthia's a human being, and it's important for all of us to socialize at least a little bit, especially off the internet, because I think she socializes probably too much online. I think it's her whole life, because she's essentially a shut-in, which blows my mind that she has any input on social issues, because none of it friggin' affects her. She doesn't go anywhere. But nevertheless, she was going out with Betty, and they did a little bit of shopping, and that's good. I think that's, a good thing to do. But it again begs the question, I think, for some people, when you say you have no food, or you're very low on food, which doesn't seem to be the case from the kitchen tour, and then you go buy stuff that you want, and then say you have no money for the stuff that you need, which pulls at the heartstrings of people who then send you that stuff. And I maintain that the people who send things to Cynthia are not suckers. They're generous people, who can send whatever they want to whoever they want. I'm not saying they should be sending their money to a charity instead of to her. Individuals can spend their money in any way they please, and if they believe they're helping her, they are giving food to someone who is probably hungry, but are they without food? No. She's just hungry. I'm hungry, but I got food in the kitchen. But it's different. Being hungry is different from, I don't like what I have to eat in the house. Those are two different things. I don't feel like cooking a steak, so I'm gonna ask for soup. Because I can microwave soup. I can't microwave the steak. I don't know. It's, that's between her and her fridge and her maker, I guess. So closing thoughts. This isn't one of the longer videos I've done, but let me just cruise through one last time to see if any points of sugar come out. The boxes. I mean, the lipsticks and the whatnot. I mean, I don't know. Oh, and the skunks. One of these you don't play around with bringing skunks around. I mean, I can see why the landlord might be a little perturbed with that. At this point, even, oh my god, did you see? Even Enrico dashed like hell to get out of there. He just... So, I don't know. I don't know. What do I see for the next coming week? Probably more HelloFresh, because she just unboxed one. Though I don't get it. It seemed like she did the mukbang and then the unboxing after? Maybe? I don't know. She used to always do it the unboxing and then she would cook all 3 meals. So, I don't know. I would wonder, if I had a personal, like if Cynthia and I were friends, I would ask her this about the HelloFresh stuff. Is it different? Is it weird? This is a personal question that, again, she would never answer. Is it weird making the boxes without Tommy there? This isn't meant to make her emotional. Only because there's, like, activities I think they used to do together. Like, he would hold a camera, and he would do the taste testing. And they did so many of these boxes. There's freaking playlists of this stuff, plus the other boxes she did. I wonder if it's different for her. I know a lot of things were different in the beginning, and I know people judged the fact that she didn't seem to grieve more than 36 hours after he died. But maybe some things come back, and I wonder if this is something that's a little weird for her to do, or took her a little bit to get used to. Cynthia doesn't talk about emotions because she thinks it makes her vulnerable. Probably. But, I mean, she wouldn't unless she thought it would get her, you know, Hickory Farms basket. I don't know. So, that's my assessment. I think it's going to be more of the same, more HelloFresh boxes, and frankly, I like that. There's not much controversial about a HelloFresh box. There's not much to argue about. I'm not coming down. There's old stuff I knew about Cynthia that I had already made peace with. She's a very different cook than I am. She's a hustler when it comes to boxes. Like the food boxes and storing stuff. I dare say I learned some of that from her when it comes to that. So, whatever. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Where are we coming up in the year? Where are we coming up in the month? Let's see. We don't get paid again until the 22nd from YouTube. So, she would have paid the rent from last month's check on the 22nd, so there goes that. That would have been whatever her rent is, and Social Blade said she makes about X amount of money. All things being relative, she should be broke by now. If YouTube is her only income. And she doesn't seem to be. So, that's her business. Well, here's the thing. And this is more of an open discussion. This is a question you can leave something in the comments for. And it's a question for all creators, but we're talking about Cynthia. If something's in your personal life, finances are kind of personal. You know, Mark and I will mention here and there that, you know, we're working class and we save for X, Y, Z, and then shit comes up and you spend it. Like, that's life. It's whatever. When you put your personal finances out on Main Street on YouTube, and then people ask questions about it and you tell them it's none of their business, best to probably stop bringing it up. You know, so people won't ask about it, you know. That's just a thought. Here's the question, is it fair game to ask follow-up questions to someone if they bring that up on their channel? You know, private life stuff isn't fair game, I don't think. Like, it had come up, we were in a live the other day, and somebody had asked, not inappropriately, because it's in popular lore around the Beaumonts, somebody had asked if Cynthia's mother and Tommy were in a relationship, and if Cynthia stole him away, or whatever. That's a rumor I've heard 1,000 times, to the point where I think it's almost accepted as fact. I've never heard it from Cynthia. She's never mentioned it, as far as I know. She's given very few details about her relationship with Tommy before they were married, except that when they were courting, I think they went to the Christmas show. And that times were very tough at the beginning, I think, of their marriage. But not much else. She's shut the door on that. I don't think any amount of money, or steaks, or lipstick, or anything is going to get, maybe a month's free rent, nothing is going to get her to open her mouth about what's going on there. She's made it a dead issue. So I'm not in the position to bring it up every video, nor would I want to, because it's not It's not something to poke. She's chosen to leave that out, I think, forever. So, would I be curious to know? Of course, I'm nosy. But do I want to prod it? Do I want to poke it? No. Another topic is 9/11. She's never really mentioned her and Tommy because they were 20 minutes from New York. I'd be curious for her perspective because she was so close. That's never come up either. And I doubt it will. So she has chosen not to put those on YouTube. So I've chosen not to really pursue discussing it too much because that's part of her life she doesn't want. It's fine, she can leave that off. But when you put things like your finances out there and your lack of food out there, and then you put out content that makes it look like you have food and money, but you're still mentioning on the low that you don't have food or money, and then as if by magic it shows up 2 days later. I don't know. At any rate, I'm just rambling. So we will continue following the channel and see which direction it goes. If it goes back to older kind of content, you know, unboxings, cooking, things like that, stuff that was in her wheelhouse, stuff she did when the channel was growing, and we'll see how that goes. I'm going to try to kind of follow this a little less emotionally and a little more objectively. That's not going to totally happen, but I'm going to try to take that angle with it, I think. We'll see how that goes. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the like button and the bell on your way out so you get the alerts. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address and our contact info is all listed down below. Oh, you can also follow us on Twitter at SmokeySteveA. No Mark, sorry. Thank you for watching, and we will catch up with y'all tomorrow. Have a good Thursday. Bye.